Good afternoon, everyone. I am Judy Friedman-Kadish. I am the director of Americans for a Safe Israel, also known as AFSI. So it is good afternoon to everyone on the East Coast and hello to people everywhere. We welcome Deputy Mayor of Jerusalem, Arieh King, who will be our keynote speaker, and Cantor Yankee Lemmer, and you, our distinguished guests. It's my honor to welcome you to our annual Zeev Jabotinsky Memorial. As is our practice, we will start the memorial with the recitation of the Israeli and the American anthems. Please sing along. Hey, Eileen. Make it big. Green dot. Okay. Go.
Her audio is not on.
Yankee, you want to help us out?
All right, let's do this.
Okay.
Okay, am I on? Can you hear me? Oh, we can hear it now.
עין לציון צופיה עוד לא תקוותנו התקווה בת שנות 2000 בהיותם חופשי בארצנו ארץ ציון ירושלים בהיותם חופשי בארצנו ארץ ציון ירושלים.
By the dawn of midnight, was so proud with at the twilight's last gleam, was nice and bright small, through the veil of stars, for the world was in love, was proud and sweet.
Hello.
Eileen Kurtak, thank you for being such a trustworthy administrator of AFSI and helping out with every aspect of every production. Now on with our program. And first, I would like to welcome Yaakov Yankee Lemmer, who's chief cantor at the Lincoln Square Synagogue and one of the leading cantorial voices in the world today. He's joined us to recite the Kel Mole Rachamim in memory of Zeev Jabotinsky. Cantor Lemmer, are you unmuted? No.
Can you hear me now? Keeps remuting. Okay, are we good now?
Yes, great.
Okay, so you asked me to say a word about like why we say Amale. What is this prayer? It's a dirge, a memorial prayer. As Jews, we believe that our souls are eternal, and the prayer is basically alludes to that, and usually it comes along with a pledge to do a good deed, to pray, to bring some more light in the world in memory of this person, and that's how their memory and energy lives on. Here we go. El mole rachamim, shocher במרומים, ומצא מנוחה נכונה על כנפי השכינה במעלות קדושים וטהורים כזוהר הורקים מאירים ומזהירים את נשמות זאב בן יונה וחווה שהלך לעולמו בעבור שאנחנו מתפללים יוזם חסד ליד הזכרת נשמתו לכן בעל רחמים יסירי בסתר כנפו לעולמים ויצרור בצרור החיים את נשמותוי נשמותוי אוי את נשמותוי ינוח בשלום ינוח בשלום על משכבו ונאמר אמן.
Cantor Lemmer, thank you so much for that very, very spiritually moving and appropriate rendition of this prayer for someone who we all admire and follow. I can't thank you enough.
Thank you.
I hope we meet next time on better terms, better places. So we're gathered here on Zoom to commemorate the life and legacy of Zeev Jabotinsky and remember his message of the Iron Wall in the Middle East. Jabotinsky introduced us to the idea of an iron wall as a defense against the rise of Arab nationalism. In his words, a strong power in Palestine that is not amenable to any Arab pressure. That was the Iron Wall. In today's words, we say it is the ability of Israel to fight and to win. 7 years ago, at an in-person gathering of this memorial, I told you I would give you information that might alarm you. I enumerated many forces that were lined up wishing for Israel's destruction. Today, we are here to discuss the things that are alarming you. At this moment, Israel's main enemy, Iran, and its terror proxies have become an existential threat to our beloved Israel. On October 7th, Simchat Torah, Hamas unleashed barbarism on Israel's Gaza envelope of an unimaginable magnitude. Today is day 307 of that war. 115 hostages remain trapped in Gaza. Where is the Iron Wall? To our north, Israel faces thousands of rockets and now reportedly EMPs, or electromagnetic pulse bombs, capable of disabling Israel's electric grid in Hezbollah's possession. Hezbollah has been firing at the civilian population with increasing frequency since the start of the Hamas war. The assassination of Hamas chief political leader Ismail Haniyeh in Tehran, of Hamas military leader Mohammed Deif in Khan Yunis, Gaza, and Hezbollah commander Fawad Shakir in Beirut, as well as the airstrikes over Houthi strongholds in Yemen, have heightened tensions. Israelis are always praying for the best and preparing for the worst case scenario. Iran has ordered a direct strike at Israel, the little Satan, of a magnitude much greater than their strike on April 14th. And in Israel's heartland, Israel faces the Palestinian Arabs and, of course, the fight for Jerusalem. After all, Hamas has called this war the Al-Aqsa Flood. Their goal is clear. We at AFC ask, what would Jabotinsky do? Would he allow victory to terrorists, victory to false narratives, and victory to the Arab cause? Our keynote speaker today, Arieh King, Deputy Mayor of Jerusalem, possesses the type of iron will few can aspire to. He will give us additional insight into the situation Israel faces today, and I am sure some well-developed ideas about how things should be handled. Israel, a small, young state, is a shining example of a nation that hasn't just survived, but has thrived and strived to the heights that were unimaginable by the survivors of the Holocaust and Jews elsewhere. Israel has the oldest and richest historical impact on the world today. Let us make sure that Israel continues to spread light onto this world and create the unimaginable. We cannot let Israel's enemies destroy it. Join AFC in Israel's fight for its existence. Join AFC on our upcoming Chizuk missions to Israel and see firsthand why Judea Samaria are crucial for a strong and defensible Israel. Through our missions, the deep relationship we've built allow us to receive firsthand information from people living on the ground. Our 2024 spring mission focused on volunteering, visiting wounded soldiers, feeding some on active duty, and so much more. We are planning a trip in November with an itinerary that will be responsive to Israel's then current needs, and we hope many of you will join us. And join AFSI in helping to safeguard Zeev Jabotinsky's Iron Wall by becoming members in the greater AFSI community. Become an active member and support us to prevent further breaches of the Iron Wall. Before I introduce Arieh, Helene Fragman-Abramson, our co-host extraordinaire, will let us know how the rest of the program will run. Helene?
Hi, welcome. Just a couple of housekeeping issues. First, obviously, welcome, Arieh. Thank you for being here. He will speak immediately after I'm done telling you guys to please put your questions in the chat. Judy and I will read through them. We may aggregate some of them. Often people ask the same question in a variety of ways. We'll put them together so everything gets answered, but we will ask the questions for you. And then after everybody's done speaking, when Arieh is finished and our questions have been answered, Judy will ask us to unmute and then we can do something more living room style. I look forward to Arieh's talk and enjoy yourself. Thank you.
And now to Arieh. Thank you for being.
Shalom, shalom.
Shalom. Great to see you. Great to see you here. I hope you're having a successful trip in New York so far.
I am now in New York, just arrived 1 hour ago, after being 3 days in Montreal, 1 day in New Jersey, and today I'm in New York. Tomorrow I'm in New York, and at Shabbat will be at Atlantic Beach, talking there at 2 locations, and it's very successful. In fact, I think it's the most successful visit I had to the United States ever. People are interested. People are showed to the place where I talked, East Brunswick, last night. It was packed in Montreal. It was packed, and also here, by the way, it's a big audience also here, not because of me, because of Zeev Jabotinsky. So I'm taking advance of the memorial to talk about Jerusalem and about the situation, as much that the way that I see it, that is in all over Israel. So thank you, Judy. Thank you to all AFSI for again allowing me to participate in the memorial. At the past, I remember I think it was somewhere next to Lincoln Center. You had the event, if I remember correctly, somewhere in Manhattan.
Had it on, I think West Side Institutional was the last one. We've had it in various places, Park East Synagogue.
Okay.
And, you know, it's wonderful to have it in person. However, that doesn't allow for people who are in different places in the world to participate. So this is what we're doing now, and we'll see about next year.
Okay, and we're looking forward to see you, of course, your tour in November, and hopefully till then we will be able, you know what to do, and I'm sure everybody here will agree with me. We will be able to repeat the tour that we had to Gush Katif with your mother, Zichronah Livracha. If you remember this tour to Gush Katif, so may HaKadosh Baruch Hu will listen to our prayers and praise, and we will be at November, not here in New York, not even in Jerusalem, but with the buses of Gush Etzion bus, if I remember, going back to Gush Katif, to the beaches of Gush Katif, and having the same tour like we had 16 or 15 years ago when your mother led it with all of us together with her at the buses.
Yes.
So may this will happen, and I'm sure it will happen sometime, but maybe this November.
Pray.
Yes, Judy. Tell me, what do you want me to focus? And I will start, you know me. I know, just tell me what's the direction. I will connect it to Jabotinsky, of course, because he's somebody that it's a memorial event for him. Is the Iron Wall. Of course, it's something that we are missing today in Israel, at least. We don't feel enough strength, if you're asking me, from our leadership. Not because the army cannot do what they should do. It's because I think because the army is not getting the right orders what to do. I finished my reserve just last Thursday, a week ago exactly, and I'm landing in Israel at Sunday, and I'm going back to the reserve. Like me, my son is an officer in the parachutes. He's now in Khan Yunis, and another son is in the tanks. And it's not that we are unique. It's many families. You find 3, 4, 5, 6 family members. I'm talking about the closest family. I'm not talking about cousins and uncles. And I'm talking same seed family serving at the same time, if it's in the north, if it's in the south, or if it's in Judea and Samaria. And the feeling is, whenever I talk with friends, and I'm an officer, so with officers in other areas, whenever I talk with my son, that is also an officer in Gaza Strip, it's very sad to say, and it's recorded. I will say something that it's very sad to say. The army is not getting the right orders, and the order need to be to chase the Hamas and to kill every Hamas and to kill every terrorist, by the way. I don't know if you know that there is an order from the Attorney General of the government that even if I see a terrorist that we know for sure, 100%, that he participated in the massacre of Simchat Torah, October 7, it's definitely him. And we see him walking in Gaza, we are not allowed to kill him. Even if we know definitely that he killed sisters of us, if we know that he raped our sisters or he kidnapped, it's not maybe, 100% it's him, we are not allowed to kill him. This is not Iron Wall.
No.
This is not. This is Bob's fog, we call it. How we call it? Bob's the door, you know. It's something soft, okay? You call it in English, but this is not iron and not a wall. It's putting our soldiers in a risk, and it's not passing the right message it should be to every terrorist that we will kill him wherever we find him, see him. So I hope really that some things will change. I'm not so optimistic about that. But saying that, I'm very optimistic when I see what's happening in our nation, in Am Israel, in Eretz Israel. Look, it's well known. Whoever met me and toured with me and sat with me know that I think that the right wing in Israel is much stronger than what it's presented in the Knesset or in the coalition in Israel or in the government. There are many right-wing people that are not part of the coalition, and I think it's because of our prime minister, but put it in the side, I'm saying the nation went even now further right, and I'm not afraid from elections. I'm sure the right just will get bigger. All the polls that the left are publishing, it's nonsense like every time. The right, we will be controlling the government next time. Hopefully, the government will also act as a right-wing government, and there are good things that are happening. If you heard what the archi-terrorist Nasrallah talked last night in Beirut, he mentioned two people. One was Benjamin Netanyahu, our prime minister, and the second was Bezalel Smotrich. He claimed that Bezalel Smotrich is responsible that there will not be a Palestinian state. And he knows what he's talking, Nasrallah, because he's following our news, and he knows what was published. Bezalel Smotrich passed a few very important decisions that are declaring hundreds of thousands of dunams in Judea and Samaria as a state land. And it's around and between Jewish villages, settlements in Judea and Samaria. It means that almost today, every settlement in Judea and Samaria, every yeshuv, every Jewish village can expand itself and build more and more new neighborhoods. And by that, we will be able to more than double the number of Jews living in Judea and Samaria. And it's very important, especially when we know that, unfortunately, our Minister of Defense, Yoav Gallant, that is a leftist guy, is not Likud even, he came from Kahlon party, is all the time, together with a high officer in the army, are all the time chasing our children, our brothers and sisters in Judea and Samaria, and annoying them, and chasing them, and arresting them, and trying to avoid them from spreading and building in Judea and Samaria. So there are good things happening. Together with that, another thing that's happening is that it's good. And this is really maybe the only, I would say, iron wall that we see today in Israel. It's how the nation become much more united than it was a year ago. All this demonstration of the leftists that are being, I'm sure, for sure, they are being sponsored by Qatar, by Iran. The money is coming from Arab countries into American organizations or European organizations with democratic ideas and liberalism and progressivism, and they are bringing the money into the pockets of the demonstrators that you see in Tel Aviv and in Jerusalem that are demonstrating against the elected government. And the idea of Iran and Qatar is very simple: to weaken us from inside, to weaken us and to create conflicts between of us at the time that they are sending the Houthis or Hezbollah or Hamas or Iran or Iraqi Shia groups to launch attacks against it from outside. This is for sure, I'm saying, for sure. It's strategic that Qatar and Iran behind of it, weakening us from inside, attacking us from outside. And but saying that, I'm saying that they are not successful so much in creating these conflicts. Even people from the left are fed up with this demonstration at the time that we have brother and sister being buried at Har Herzl, while we have thousands of soldiers lying down in hospitals and or in their houses that they lost their leg or legs or hands and legs, and at the same time their neighbors have the time to go and drink coffee in Kaplan Street in Tel Aviv or in Balfour in Jerusalem and going and demonstrating against the elected government. So they are not successful with that. And as much as they are not successful, the left, they become more radical, and they are behaving in much more extremist way. But we will continue. I think, again, this is a good sign. The nation is more united, despite all of these efforts that the left and Iran and Qatar are making to split us inside of us. Now, I want to say something else. If you remember, the last time we met, it was in the Music Square, I think, in Jerusalem. And you remember that the finale of the evening was when I got a phone call about the law against UNWRA. Okay, so Baruch Hashem, since then, we had a great success in the Knesset, passing four different laws against UNWRA. One of them is a law that is declaring UNWRA as a terrorist organization, we passed the first hearing, and you should know, everybody voted. There were people from Lapid party, from Benny Gantz party, from Gideon Sa'ar party, and of course, Likud, Haredim, and the right wing. Now we need to pass another 2 hearings in the Knesset, and then it will be finalized. I believe it will happen sometime at October, November this year, and then UNRWA will be officially in Israel terror organization. I want to say something to you. One of the reasons I came to New York was that because of the demonstration that we were behind of them, and together with another organization called Im Tirtzu. So because of this, if you remember, also Bnayahu from Im Tirtzu sat next to me at the meeting we had at the Music Square. So thanks to this common effort that we did, the Israel Land Fund with Im Tirtzu, we succeeded first in make much more awareness in Israel. What is UNRWA? Who are they? How much they are dangerous? Passing these 4 laws, and something that surprised me, was shocked. 2 days after we sat, I got a phone call from a guy, never mind his name, but I can tell you a very senior person in United Nations. And he told me, Arieh, we need to sit and we need to meet 4 eyes. I want you to come to United Nations, and we in United Nations building here in New York. I want to sit with you, and I have few things that would interest you. So I'm going to meet him tomorrow at United Nations. Somebody, I cannot give his name, is not a Jew, not Israeli, not connect to us, but he hate UNRWA like all of us. He have inside information about UNRWA. He is willing to collaborate with us. He have a goal. He said that in United Nations, many people from the system, from inside the system of United Nations, the bureaucrats are against UNRWA. That is talking about all kind of issues of nepotism, issues of corruption, money that is not getting to where it should be. And I hope that together with this guy, again, he's working in United Nations for over 30 years. Everybody knows him. And I hope that will also create some movement inside the United Nations, that the goal is to close this terror organization and not let them continue acting in Jerusalem like they are acting until this moment. Nothing changed, besides that we caused the government to sue them, to pay rent to for using 2 properties belong to the government that they invaded into, they squatted into this property. They never paid the government. So now the government gave them a receipt of paying almost 50 million shekel, and also to kick them out from the place. So we are fighting UNRWA. One of the ways that Israel Land Fund is participating in this war. Together with that, we are continue buying properties in East Jerusalem. We are focusing now in Shimon HaTzadik, what the Arab calls Sheikh Jarrah, but we call it Shimon HaTzadik. We have also good news in East Jerusalem. Baruch Hashem, many new neighborhoods are being approved. And you know what? Nobody cares. Usually, when we purchased one house, one shop, or one plan was approved, it was it was headlines everywhere. It was CNN, Fox News. Everybody called. They wanted to interview us. What are we doing? You are causing war. There will be intifada. Now, at the last 6-7 months, nobody cares. Nobody cares. You know, today it's Thursday. There were 2 demolitions of buildings in what's called the King Garden. King Garden is below City of David. In the past, whenever we entered there, it was a big fuss. All the news was about it. Everybody. Today, 2 buildings were demolished. At Sunday, another one, this past Sunday. So nobody cares, and this is a time for us to fix wrong ways that we behaved in East Jerusalem. the demolitions are happening thanks to Itamar Ben-Gvir, the Minister of Internal Security Affairs, because he gave me, as a deputy mayor, a promise. Whenever you need policemen to enforce the law in East Jerusalem, I don't want to hear that you are saying there's no policemen that are escorting the municipality employees. So since October, just to understand the numbers, since October, we demolished the same amount of houses in East Jerusalem like were demolished at 2022 and 2023. And we are just 8 months in this year, 2024, and we already demolished the same like regular 2 years. And this is thanks to the Minister Itamar Ben-Gvir that understands the importance of enforcing the law, every law, but especially when the Arabs are building, like, spitting on our face, on the legal system, on the municipality system. It's not something that they're doing under the carpet, hiding it. When you build 3, 4, 5 floors building, it's saying, I don't care about the law, and I don't care what you think about it, and I will build whatever and wherever I want. So it's the message passed, and you see that Jerusalem, thank God, until now, it's a very quiet city. Look at the city since the war started, it's quiet. The Arabs are silent. And this is because of this message that is coming from the municipality. We are strengthening the enforcement of the law together with the police that is not giving the these snakes that are living between of us in East Jerusalem, they are not allowing them to raise their head. And when they raise their head, these snakes, they get immediately on the head what they need to get. And this is why Jerusalem, until this moment, is quiet. It's quiet, and you need to know there are many leaders, Islamic leaders, that are trying to provoke and to make the population in Jerusalem more active, and supporting the war in the south and in the north, but they are not so successful. So this is when we talk about Jabotinsky Iron Wall. There are a good examples of what is Iron Wall, or how you should behave, and in order to protect the Jews living in Jerusalem, living in Israel. And we see it from some of our leaders, and we still need to see it for more, especially, as I said before, from our army. So this is about that. We are in less than a week. We will have Tisha B'Av. Next Tuesday is Tisha B'Av, the day of the destruction of the first and the second temple. And people are asking me about Iran and what they will do. I really believe that I'm listening a lot and viewing a lot and reading a lot the Arab social media, including from Turkey, Lebanon, Judea and Samaria, Gaza, and Iraq. And my feeling is that you will be shocked what I'm going to say, that our enemy, the Iranians, the Persians, they understand the importance of Tisha B'Av more than many Jews. More than many Jews. They know the symbolic of the 9 days. And Tisha B'Av, they know our history. And this is why I think that they are going to attack us in Tisha B'Av. Tisha B'Av night or Tisha B'Av in the day. This is what I don't have any information. This is what, from reading, the way that they are talking, they see themselves as there is kind of a competition in the Arab world. Turkey, Erdogan want to be again the biggest Ottoman Empire, the leader of the Islam world. There is Saudi Arabia. They are also, like the Turkish, are Sunna, and they are competing with Turkey about who will be the leader of the Islam world. And there's also the Shia movement that this is based in Iran, and Iran see themselves as the leaders of the Arab world, and in this way, too, the Shia will be like having a competition with both Sunna, Turkey, and Saudi Arabia, who will be the Arab, if it's Shia or Sunna, that will lead the fight against us. And each one of them, Saudi Arabia don't have problem with that, but Turkey and Iran are in a competition, including, by the way, in Jerusalem, who will lead the fight, the war against Israel. And by that, they want to build their credit. Again, if as the Persian Empire or if it's the Turkish Ottoman Empire. So I believe that, and I read, they are talking about these days, the Arabs are talking about the 9 days, they're talking about Tisha B'Av, it's destruction of the first temple, second temple, and they're quoting our rabbi saying that Medinat Israel, the state of Israel, this is the third temple. Okay? And this is now the time to demolish the third temple. When? At the date that we all know that already the first and the second temple were destroyed. And they are writing it like you heard it now. So I wish that Jews will believe that and will remember the importance of Tisha B'Av. Of course, will fast at Tisha B'Av and will mourn and will remember the destruction of the first and the second temple and, of course, Jerusalem, and think how they, each one of them, is now in our days participating in strengthening Jerusalem, strengthening Israel, and strengthening our hold in the Temple Mount. I don't hear you.
That's,
Oh.
you gave us so much information. I know that there had been talk about the strike being this past Monday, maybe Tuesday, or Tisha B'Av. There's also a lot of the more right-wing retired generals talking about preemptive strikes. Can Israel survive a first strike? What is your feeling about that?
First, I think Israel can survive from at this a first attack that will be launched, if it will be launched by Iran and proxies. Israel can handle it. Maybe we will face casualties and people. They can get in, and we saw the drone that hit Tel Aviv, and we saw the missile that fell in some Air Force base in the south, and they are capable. When you send hundreds of missiles and hypersonic missiles and drones simultaneously from many directions, and hundreds of them, so it's reasonable that a few will even maybe tens will go through and cause damages and casualties, but that will not put Israel in a risk. And Israel, even if we would get the first strike against us, Israel can and should respond in the most powerful way that we are able. And I'm sad we are not doing it before, but knowing who is our leaders and knowing who is your leader here, Biden and Kamala and all this gang, unfortunately, they want us to be hit by Iran and the proxies. They don't want us to attack before, knowing that we will suffer from that. And the sad story is, look, in April, Iran and her proxy already attacked us with over than 300 missiles from all directions, all kind of missiles, and Israel, instead of responding like we should be, if they send 300, we had to send 300 missiles and to destroy entire city in Iran. Or all the nuclear sides that they have. Instead of that, Israel sent airplanes, putting in a risk our pilots and taking a radar in the middle of nowhere that is not disturbing Iran in their plan. Nothing happened, nothing changed. If we would, in April already, responded like we had to, in 300 and maybe even 600 missiles, and creating a massive destruction in Iran, I'm sure that the Iranian people, that most of them are against the Iranian leadership and the Shia parties there, they will raise against their leadership. But no, this is something that I don't understand why we responded like it's the same weakness that we have in our leadership that we faced. That's a week or 2 weeks after Simchat Torah. Immediately after we understood what happened to us in the south, Israel didn't demolished, cleaned the entire north of Gaza Strip. Just clean it. Nobody should remain there. So the same weakened leader that didn't got then at October the right decision, they are the same. Is the same weakness that we didn't add at April when Iran attacked us. And I'm sad to say that I'm sure that also if Iran will attack us again today, tomorrow, whenever it will be, the same weakness from our leader will be exposed again because we are not understanding how we should talk with Arabs. And Arabs, we should talk with them in the way that they talk between themselves. And they understand one thing, power. The strongest are the one to be safe and to be survive. If you are weak, if you are a Muslim, weak in a Muslim country, your brother and sisters, the Muslims, they will bother you, they will steal from you, they will kill you if they need, because you are weak. And this is what we need to understand. We must be strong and respond strong immediately, not after months or years.
Helene, I haven't been following the questions, and I think we can take a few. I know I saw Joe Silver asked, and this is kind of off the topic of the entire regional situation. What is being done, if anything, to change the educational system in Jerusalem to stop the Israel-hating education that children are getting? I'm paraphrasing.
Look, in Jerusalem today, in East Jerusalem, about 20 to 25% of the Arab children are studying in UNWRA schools or in other private schools that the syllabus is the Palestinian Authority syllabus, and this is including hatred, and then they are not accepting the existence of Israel. A lot of anti-Semitism inside the books. Unfortunately, according to the Oslo Agreement, we are allowing that. And this is something that's insane. We all know that Oslo is finished. It's not exist, Oslo Agreement. Not in Hebron, and not in Nablus, and not in Jericho, and not in Jerusalem. And still our Minister of Education and our Prime Minister are still allowing Arabs to study their children with the syllabus of the PLO or UNRWA, and it's the same content, in Israel. In Israel, I'm not talking about Jericho, not Hebron, I'm talking about Jerusalem. So why are we so shocked when an Arab child is taking a knife and is trying to murder his neighbor from the Jewish neighborhood nearby? Why are we then surprised when an Arab employee working for us in the municipality rape a Jewish girl in a public toilets in the middle of Jerusalem, in King George Street, and he saw it as part of his mission as a Palestinian. We are responsible to that. I mean the government. Unfortunately, we are in the city. We are all the time saying we should finish with that, but we are not have the permission. We don't have the authority to deal with that. It's a government decision. So if you're asking me, anytime you meet any politician, you should say something very simple. We all know Oslo agreement is not exist. Israel is not acting according to that. The Palestinian Authority is not acting according to that. Even Norway, that is like, they were like the godfathers of Oslo agreement. They, by going to Hague against Israel, it's against the Oslo agreement. So everybody agrees there's no Oslo agreement really de facto. So why in the education system in Jerusalem we still say, oh, they are allowed because it's in Oslo agreement? It's a sickness in our prime minister head and in our education ministers, the present ones and the previous ones.
We are coming close to the end of our hour. I invite people to stay on after the hour ends, whoever would like to we'll unmute people and we can have like a chat. However, it is our tradition to sing Shir Beitar at the end of our program. And so, Eileen, if you can put up the words and play the music, this is the time.
Goodbye.
Are you leaving? Bye.
Yeah, I have a meeting at another 3 minutes. Sorry.
Okay, I'm so glad you were with us. Thank you so much. We can't thank you enough. And it's so wonderful to hear some good news from you. It's just such a wonderful thing. So
Thank you, Jerry.
forward to seeing you soon, and good luck with your meetings.
Thank you. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom. Music? Oh, no. Well, that didn't go over so well. And I apologize to everybody who's here for the garbled sound. We'll have to work on that. Maybe next year we'll do this in person and then we won't have that same problem. I would like to unmute everybody. Can we do that, Eileen?
Yeah, everybody can unmute. Joe Silver here.
Hi, Joe.
Hi, how are you?
Hey, how have you been?
Okay.
Good. All right, I'm getting my screen back. There were so many good questions in the chat box, and you know, some were yours, but everyone had such good questions. But I'm glad to know that you're healthy. What other questions would people like to pose to each other?